Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. This fight is apparently happening this year, December. I'm hearing. I don't know if there's an actual date. Well, I wanted to talk about this fight for a minute because I have a bit to say about it. Usually, when I see the discourse about this fight, it's like unanimously people picking Deontay Wilder to win, and I don't understand it. I don't understand it. There's a lot of hyperbole surrounding Anthony Joshua no matter what he does. Like before it was that he couldn't box. He doesn't know how to jab. He doesn't know how to do anything. He has no footwork. He's a stiff, robotic power puncher. That's all he knows how to do is swing. And then after the Andy Ruiz fight, the first one, he comes into the second fight and he's more patient. He's more, I guess, calculated, so to speak. He starts the round slower, etc. And now it's like everyone's like, "Oh, he's so boring. He's so washed up." And it's like, but wait, you were complaining about his style. He changes his style, and you don't like the way he fights now. And it's a lot of throwing under the bus too. I mean, they threw this guy under the bus. They hyped him up like crazy. He loses a fight. He comes back, wins the rematch. Which, I mean, most people, aren't after they get like finished like he did against Andy Ruiz. They're not rushing to come back. But I believe that was his immediately next fight. After that was the rematch against Andy Ruiz, and he took it and he won the fight. And he did it twice. He did it with Usyk after losing to Usyk. He didn't win that one, but he still took that rematch. He still took that challenge. A guy who constantly challenges himself. A guy who is trying to improve. Now, I'm not saying I like the new Anthony Joshua. I don't like the way he fights now. I like when he was like super aggressive and he was more of an exciting fighter. But I understand. There's more on the line now. Knockouts change people. When you get finished like that, it changes people. You have a bad night like that, it's usually never the same after that. But I'm surprised that it's so unanimous that he is going to lose to Deontay Wilder. I mean, like, even I see more people having Usyk beating Fury now than I did last year. Last year was everyone saying Fury would beat Usyk. Nowadays, I see everyone saying that Usyk beats Fury. But the poll has shifted. But it seems that for the last few years, it's just been all off AJ and Wilder fight. Wilder will knock him out cold. Has Anthony Joshua been knocked out cold in his career ever? I don't know about that one. But I just want to go over these guys' skills and give my prediction. My unbiased prediction. By the way, I'm a Wilder fan. I'm an AJ fan. I was actually rooting for Wilder to knock Fury out in their third fight. But clearly that didn't happen, right? Still, let me start with the big things, right? The cardio. People kind of shit on AJ's cardio. His cardio is he doesn't have like superhuman cardio. He kind of, like Canelo, he fades as the fight goes on. Especially when he puts that pressure on, when he puts that intensity on, he kind of fades near the end of a fight. But so does Deontay Wilder. I mean, look at the second and third Fury fights, right? Those second and third Fury fights, he gassed out pretty damn quick. I want to say in the third fight, I want to say by the fifth round. I mean, and that's being generous. I saw him like kind of slowing down in the third round, but in that fifth round onwards, he was just like fighting in slow motion for most of the fight. Complete slow motion. And he wasn't really doing anything either. He was jabbing to the body. He's trying to put together some fundamentals. He couldn't do that. He just doesn't have those. But yeah, it was very strange how Anthony Joshua's cardio is like this big highlight that people shit on, and there's so much hyperbole surrounding it. When Deontay Wilder's cardio is just as bad, if not worse. All you have to do is put a little pressure on the guy. The problem is that with AJ, he fights guys that go after him, right? That are willing to go after him and put pressure on him, willing to punch back. Who show up like they're actually there to win a fucking fight, not avoid a right hand for 12 rounds. Fury was really the first guy that said, well, hold on. I'm just going to walk this guy down and bully him. I'm going to put the pressure on him. And once he did that, Wilder's gas tank started to show. When you have someone who's just not afraid of that right hand, very telegraphed right hand, then that's what you get. I mean, it's a tale as old as time in boxing. When the bully gets bullied, they crumble. When someone's a big knock artist and they're knocking all these guys out, you don't see them go the distance that much, or you don't see them against a certain type of opponent. You always see them against people that are kind of concede to their fate before the fight. Well, Fury didn't do that, and we saw what happened. But again, I'm looking at these fights. I'm looking at Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. I've watched all their fights in the last 7-8 years, right? I just don't see how Deontay Wilder's cardio is significantly better than Anthony Joshua's. Can you argue it's better? I mean, sure. I'm not going to believe you or take that seriously, but if you're arguing it's significantly better, then whatever you're buying, take it back, right? Take it back to the dealer. I mean, Jesus Christ. All right, now let's go into just their pure skills, their fundamentals. Obviously, Anthony Joshua is better than Wilder at that. I mean, even in Wilder's last, I saw a pad work video from Wilder. He's crossing his feet all the time. His footwork isn't there. His defense isn't there. And we can talk about the power. The power, of course. Deontay Wilder has the right hand, right? He has a huge right hand. But he needs to land it flush. He needs to land it flush. Like, it needs to be a perfect shot. And that's what they say. Oh, well, Anthony Joshua, he has to be perfect for 12 rounds. He has to be perfect for almost half an hour. Deontay Wilder has to be perfect for 1 second. Which doesn't make sense, because what happened in the Fury fight? Fury wasn't perfect in that fight for the durations of those fights, and he was fine. He made it to the end all 3 times. Well, he finished them the last 2 times, but in the first time, he made it to the end. He got knocked down huge, and he still got up. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the resume of the people that Wilder's knocked out, a lot of them are just smaller guys. Cruiserweights. Light heavyweights. Right? I mean, sure, there's always a puncher's chance. There's always a chance Deontay Wilder catches Anthony Joshua with a glancing shot or something like that Joshua loses his balance. But is he gonna knock him out cold? I don't know. I see it, right? I'm not gonna be one of these ignorant people like, oh, I don't see that happening. I mean, this is boxing. I see it. I can see it happening. I just think it's highly unlikely. The right hand is telegraphed. Does Deontay Wilder have the facilities to do a proper setup for that right hand that Anthony Joshua just won't anticipate? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, and the power in the chins, Oh, Anthony Joshua's chin is so shot and so suspect. It's like, but he has great recovery. He can do fine under pressure. When he gets hurt, it's not like he just, it goes, falling all over the place. Besides that Andy Ruiz fight, but it was an off night. But we've seen him hurt against Usyk, and he maintained his composure. He weathered the storm, survived the rest of the round. Deontay Wilder, I mean, with those chicken legs, I mean, is he going to be able to take power shots from Joshua? And that's another thing I'll talk about. Like, what version of Anthony Joshua is going to come into this fight? But still, talking about the power and the chin. Deontay Wilder, the things I say about Anthony Joshua's chin apply to Deontay Wilder, too. Once Tyson Fury became a power puncher overnight, got those new trainers, etc., in the second fight, became a power puncher overnight. Deontay Wilder's legs were all over the place. He was doing the stanky leg for most of that second fight. And then the third fight, he got sparked out. I mean, he did drop Fury in that third fight. Yeah, while he was gassed too. But to be fair, Fury looked bad in that third fight too. Fury didn't look his best. He didn't look as good as he did in the first and second fights. He looked pretty bad in that fight too. There was a point where they were just fighting in slow motion near the end of that fight. But still, it's not like Wilder's chin is significantly better than Anthony Joshua's. He can take the shots that Anthony Joshua can't. He's an Iron Man. He's got an iron chin. Like, Anthony Joshua has not been knocked out the way Deontay Wilder has. He just hasn't. It just hasn't. In the Ruiz fight, he got up. Right? He got up. The fight was stopped while he was leaning in the corner. Because the referee saw something in his eyes, which we all did. We saw something strange in his eyes that night. From the moment he entered the ring, he just looked like he shit his jocks in there. That's what happened. He shit his jocks. That's the long and short of it. But yeah, it's like Anthony Joshua's not been knocked out the way Deontay Wilder. So if we're all hung up on Anthony Joshua and how the Andrew Ruiz fight and the way he got knocked out, we can be hung up on displays of Anthony Joshua's low points. When it comes to Wilder, suddenly it's all this tiptoeing around it, like, well, Fury and yeah, Anthony Joshua punches hard too, just like Fury does, just like Wilder does. Oh my God, the heavyweights punch hard. Wow. It's just these people that are saying that Joshua has no chance whatsoever. He's just gonna get knocked spark out. And again, to my last point, it also depends on what version of Anthony Joshua shows up. Is it gonna be the labored, the slow starter Anthony Joshua? Because that version of Joshua can beat Wilder. It's gonna be. It's gonna increase Wilder's chances though, if that's the case, because if Anthony Joshua is just standing in front of him, popping his jab, being wary of that right hand the whole time. If he plays into Wilder's game, I mean, somewhere in that 12 rounds, and it will last 12 rounds if Anthony Joshua does that, or will go, far if Anthony Joshua does that, Wilder's going to clip him, and Anthony might drop, or he might get wobbly legged, right? But if it's the old Anthony Joshua, that pre-Ruiz Anthony Joshua, that pre-2019 Anthony Joshua, the one that could go right into the fire, right into the thick of it, that can clang and bang and just walk down his opponents and really have no fear and go for the finish, go for the kill, has that killer instinct. The old Anthony Joshua that wasn't afraid of the fall. And then I see Wilder gassing out. They'll probably both gas out if that happens, but I see Wilder fading earlier than Joshua. And maybe even AJ finishes him. Not dissimilar to the way Fury finished him against the ropes in that second fight. But yeah. Again, I can see both guys winning. I'm not, blind. I can see avenues for both guys winning. It's just I think Joshua has the better skill set. He's a better boxer. He's got better fundamentals. His punches are better than Wilder's. Wilder has that right hand. Anthony Joshua, he's got an uppercut. He's got a right hand. He's got an uppercut. He's got way a way more varied arsenal to put this fight away. Wilder has the right hand, with no setup. And he's very susceptible to the 1-2s, right? And especially he's very susceptible to the overhand right, as I've seen in some of his sparring footage. But yeah, it's just a lot of things people say the reasons that Anthony Joshua loses this fight also apply to Wilder. So it's just weird. There's this unanimous feeling that Wilder is going to destroy Anthony Joshua. But again, maybe he could. Depends. There's so many factors going into a fight night. What version of these fighters show up? Are there any injuries going into it, right? The weight cuts, the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. You never know. But my prediction, Anthony Joshua wins this. any way he wants, really. That's just my prediction. I could be wrong. And that's boxing, baby. That's boxing.